shooting at those mugs. There's innocent people on that plane. And we might need that plane. Aye, aye, Sky. Let me take down Sir Elton John over there. Jake, you need to be shooting at that Vin Diesel-looking mug. Shazbot. Stop chuckling. The leader wants that flash drive back. Fine, Butch Sky. I want to play, but one of you mugs got to be it. I read those files, man. Chad Stage was running the program way before he got blown up in the shuttle rescue. We got to tell the president. We must get to Washington. We're going to need a plane. All aboard. The Dean J. Television Show. Hosted by Dean Robinson. And now, Dean Robinson. Why does Iran hate the United States and Great Britain so much? Great Britain and the United States helped overthrow Iran's democratically elected Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh in 1953. The Guardian UK says, the CIA has publicly admitted for the first time that it was behind the notorious 1953 coup against Iran's democratically elected Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh, in documents that also show how the British government tried to block the release of information about its own involvement in his overthrow. The military coup that overthrew Mossadegh and his National Front cabinet was carried out under CIA direction as an act of U.S. foreign policy, conceived and approved at the highest levels of government, reads a previously excised section of an internal CIA history titled The Battle for Iran. The documents, published on the George Washington University Archives website under Freedom of Information laws, describe in detail how the U.S., with British help, engineered the coup, codenamed TP Ajax by the CIA, and Operation Boot by Britain's MI6. The George Washington University National Security Archive, Washington, D.C., August 19, 2013. American and British involvement in Mossadegh's ouster has long been public knowledge, but today's posting includes what is believed to be the CIA's first formal acknowledgement that the agency helped to plan and execute the coup. The explicit reference to the CIA's role appears in a copy of an internal history, The Battle for Iran, dating from the mid-1970s. The agency released a heavily excised version of the account in 1981 in response to an ACLU lawsuit, but it blacked out all references to TP Ajax, the codename for the US-led operation. Those references appear in the latest release. Why does Iran hate Great Britain and the United States? Great Britain and the United States helped overthrow Iran's democratically elected Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh in 1953. Richard Milhouse Nixon continues to influence U.S. foreign policy to remarkable degrees that are rarely discussed. Richard Nixon was elected president in 1968. He was re-elected in 1972. Nixon resigned in 1974 after it became known that he engineered the unlawful entry into the Democratic Party headquarters at the Watergate Hotel in Washington, D.C. The criminal enterprise is commonly known as Watergate. President Nixon's direct and ongoing impact on the United States and the global economy at large goes largely ignored by citizens in the United States of America. We should at least be talking about the Nixon Doctrine and the Twin Pillars policy. So let's go to encyclopedia.com. The decision by Great Britain in the late 1960s to withdraw its military forces from the Persian Gulf and to grant independence to its protectorates along the Arabian Peninsula confronted the United States with a strategic dilemma. It was the height of Cold War rivalry with the Soviet Union, and the United States was deeply involved in Vietnam. According to Rudolph, this led to the birth of the Twin Pillars policy, which essentially saw the United States a lot greater responsibility to Saudi Arabia and Iran as the two powers whose job it was to secure the strategically important Persian Gulf region. The Nixon Twin Pillars policy may seem a lot like the Obama leading from behind initiative because they're basically the same plan. Fund, employ, arm, and train regional armies and militias instead of deploying U.S. troops in wars on foreign nations. American history calls it the Nixon Doctrine. History.com says the Nixon Doctrine marked the formal announcement of the president's Vietnamization plan, whereby American troops would be slowly withdrawn from the conflict in Southeast Asia and be replaced by South Vietnamese troops. Nixon assumed the presidency in 1969. Over the course of his first term in office, Nixon held true to this doctrine by withdrawing a substantial portion of America's fighting forces from Vietnam. Meanwhile, the Nixon Doctrine unfurls in the Middle East as the Twin Pillars policy. Instead of direct intervention, the United States decided to build up Iran and Saudi Arabia as local powers that could protect the region from the spread of Soviet influence. As the twin pillars of U.S. policy, both countries were encouraged to acquire billions of dollars of the most advanced arms during the 1970s. This soon saw the U.S. focus primarily on building up the Shah's Iran into the dominant military power in the Gulf region. President Nixon was elected to a second term in 1972. In 1973, the United States and North Vietnam signed a peace treaty, formally bringing the Vietnam War to a conclusion. President Nixon resigned from office in 1974. In 1975, North Vietnamese forces crushed the South Vietnamese army and succeeded in reuniting the divided country under a communist regime. Iran battled Iraq from March 1974 through March 1975, with praise and approval from the United States. Iran embraced the Twin Pillars policy more enthusiastically than Saudi Arabia. The Twin Pillars policy collapsed suddenly in 1979 when the Shah, the king of Iran, was overthrown in a revolution that brought to power a Republican regime opposed to U.S. influence in the region. The Nixon Doctrine established Iran and Saudi Arabia as the twin pillars of U.S. military influence in the Middle East. By the time former Saudi Arabian citizen Osama bin Laden and 15 Saudi Arabians took down the Twin Towers in New York City on September 11, 2001, Iran had abandoned the Twin Pillars policy for 20 years and counting. To this day, Saudi Arabia remains the lone surviving twin pillar of U.S. influence in the Middle East. That may have something to do with 9/11 resulting in wars against Iraq and Afghanistan and not against Saudi Arabia. Maybe, maybe not. Either way, the United States of America and the entire world are still feeling the slap and tickle from Tricky Dick Nixon. Summit City Noise presents The Truth About the Republican Party and Abortion, hosted by Dean Robinson. The truth about the Republican Party and abortion is that 5 Supreme Court justices appointed by Republican U.S. presidents decided in 1973 that the 14th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States guarantees a woman's right to an abortion. The Heritage Foundation says in a 7-2 opinion by Justice Harry Blackmun, the court ruled that a right to privacy under the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment guarantees a woman's right to an abortion. Here is the list of the Supreme Court justices who decided Roe v. Wade in 1973, their opinions, the name of the president who appointed each justice, and the president's political party affiliations. Majority: Harry A. Blackmun, nominated by President Nixon, Republican. William J. Brennan, nominated by President Eisenhower, Republican. Warren Earl Burger, nominated by President Nixon, Republican. William Orville Douglas, nominated by President Roosevelt, Democrat. Thurgood Marshall, nominated by President Johnson, Democrat. Lewis F. Powell, nominated by President Nixon, Republican. Potter Stewart, nominated by President Eisenhower, Republican. Dissent. William H. Rehnquist, nominated by President Nixon, Republican. Byron R. White, nominated by President Kennedy, Democrat. Pastor Bob Enyart writes an open letter to Dr. James Dobson published by the Colorado Springs Gazette in 2005. In desperation, some members of Denver Bible Church held a peaceful protest at Senator Salazar's Dairy Queen. The goal was to oppose his support for the killing of unborn children, but mostly to expose the result of your quarter-century strategy of getting judges who respect life by electing pro-life Republican presidents. It is time to admit that your strategy has failed. The Moral Majority Christian Coalition Focus on the Family 25-year strategy of getting anti-abortion judges through Republican victories has utterly failed. And now, George W. Bush is keeping his word by living up to his very first campaign promise to ignore abortion when nominating judges. It was a Republican Supreme Court which legalized abortion, and a Republican-nominated judge even wrote Roe v. Wade. 5 Supreme Court justices appointed by Republican U.S. presidents ruled that the Constitution of the United States guarantees a woman's right to an abortion. Fortune magazine says America is in the midst of a fake news epidemic. Fake news used to be called parody or satire. The Onion and sometimes the New Yorker publish fake news in the form of satirical stories, essays, and editorials. Numerous commercial news and entertainment conglomerates are publishing reports on fake news to indict competing news and social commentary outlets for disseminating satire on the internet. The mainstream media macroaggression against fake news on the internet ignores the mainstream media business model that relies on political opinion programming and commercial advertising. The Washington Post says on Sunday, December 4th, a man named Edgar Welch drove from North Carolina to Washington, D.C. to investigate an alleged child sex ring run by Hillary Clinton in a pizza restaurant called Comet Ping Pong. Welch was armed with a rifle and handgun. Welch fired a weapon inside the restaurant but didn't hit anyone. Police arrested Welch with no casualties or injuries. Welch did not find a child sex ring at Comet Ping Pong because the theory behind the story, commonly known as Pizzagate, was totally made up. It was fabricated. Edgar Welch is allegedly an armed white male vigilante from North Carolina who terrorized people in a pizzeria because he didn't properly utilize the internet to investigate a made-up story about politicians and pedophiles in Washington, D.C. That should be the story, but it isn't. The story is Pizzagate, because U.S. reporters and editors are so lazy that every government conspiracy has to end with the suffix gate. At some point, these mugs are going to be reporting on Watergate Gate. Zero Hedge says Pizzagate is a wildly popular conspiracy theory that centers around leaked emails from former Hillary Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta that some believe contained pedophilic lingo. Zero Hedge says the Pizzagate forum on Reddit was started by a group of Trump-supporting internet sleuths who were attempting to use WikiLeaks leaked Podesta emails to connect the Clintons and John Podesta to the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. When the Podesta emails failed to reveal a smoking gun linkage, the sleuths instead turned their focus to multiple pizza references in Podesta's emails, which then led to the speculation that those pizza references must be code for something far more sinister. Full Frontal with Samantha Bee host Samantha Bee asks, what sort of demon brain comes up with hoaxes like this? Full Frontal producer Mike Rubens interviews Justin Kohler, CEO of Disinformedia. Though Disinformedia did not invent the Pizzagate farce, Kohler describes his company as a fake news provider. From Fortune magazine, Full Frontal points out the absurdity that Kohler, who is actually a liberal Democrat and voted for Hillary Clinton in last month's election, had been helping to spread lies about Clinton online through his web of fake news sites. Kohler told Full Frontal he became interested in the alt-right movement a few years ago, and his company set out to infiltrate these groups and see if they would fall for the stories we were writing in order to then publicly discredit them as being factual news sources. Kohler's fake news stories are satire. Satire is parody with a purpose. Edgar Welch supposedly didn't know the Pizzagate Democrat Party pedophile ring story was a concocted fantasy before he fired bullets inside a Washington, D.C. restaurant. Statements issued by Austin, Texas-based radio show host Alex Jones may have encouraged Welch to act. In a video posted on YouTube on November 4th, Alex Jones says, "When I think about all the children Hillary Clinton has personally murdered and chopped up and raped, I have zero fear standing up against her. You heard me right. Hillary Clinton has personally murdered children. I just can't hold back the truth anymore. Hillary Clinton is one of the most vicious serial killers the planet's ever seen." Jones has previously used his InfoWars and Prison Planet websites to promote Congressmen Ron and Rand Paul and their political platforms. Jones used his media space in 2016 to promote Donald Trump's presidential campaign. According to the New Republic, InfoWars, the consummate outsider media company, has converged with an outsider presidential campaign running historically low on tech-savvy and media friends. This convergence, underway for months, has been obscured by the smoke and flash of Trump's skirmishes with institutions like the Washington Post. Alex Jones issues social threats like "chicken neck white people, we are on the dinner table," when he's not promoting right-wing ideology and retail product sales during the Alex Jones radio show. The corporate conglomerate media outrage against fake news serves to conceal the commercial media business model based on publishing political and product propaganda for profit. Dictionary.com defines propaganda as information, ideas, or rumors deliberately spread to help or harm a person, group, movement, institution, nation, etc. On Fox News, Sean Hannity spread information and ideas to help Donald Trump while harming Hillary Clinton. On CBS, Stephen Colbert spread information and ideas to help Hillary Clinton while harming Donald Trump. On WOWO AM in Fort Wayne, Indiana, Pat Miller spread information and ideas to help Ted Cruz and Donald Trump while harming Hillary Clinton. On ABC, The View spread information and ideas to help Hillary Clinton while harming Donald Trump. On Fox News, Bill O'Reilly spread information and ideas to help Donald Trump while harming Hillary Clinton. On NBC, Seth Meyers spread information and ideas to help Hillary Clinton while harming Donald Trump. News opinion programs promote social and political propaganda to influence public thought. Commercial advertising is product propaganda for profit. Advertising revenue is the lifeblood of commercial media. Mainstream commercial media conglomerates do not want to talk about political propaganda or propaganda for profit because the conversation addresses the business model for commercial news in the United States. That is why U.S. commercial media conglomerates are fussing about fake news. WikiLeaks dropped another document bombshell on the United States political scene, this time a direct hit on the CIA. Krebs on Security says, WikiLeaks on Tuesday dropped one of its most explosive word bombs ever. A secret trove of documents apparently stolen from the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency detailing methods of hacking everything from smartphones and TVs to compromising internet routers and computers. WikiLeaks said it was calling attention to the CIA's global covert hacking program, its malware arsenal, and dozens of weaponized exploits against a wide range of U.S. and European company products, including Apple's iPhone, Google's Android, and Microsoft's Windows, and even Samsung TVs, which are turned into covert microphones. U.S. citizens have cynically and sarcastically talked about the CIA tapping their phones for years. Now we have proof positive that the CIA exploits iPhones, Android devices, Samsung TVs, and Microsoft Windows itself. Julian Assange may be surprised to learn that the U.S. populace largely doesn't care about the latest document dump from WikiLeaks. In fact, the CIA toolkit dump may have lost WikiLeaks its #1 fan in the United States. According to The Hill, in October 2016, Donald Trump tells listeners during a campaign rally in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, "I love WikiLeaks. It's amazing how nothing is secret today when you talk about the internet," Trump says. WikiLeaks made public hacked emails detailing Clinton's paid speeches to major financial firms. The emails which allegedly came from Clinton's campaign manager, John Podesta, have not been confirmed. Donald Trump loved him some WikiLeaks in October 2016. When we talk about today, we have to go to USA Today. White House spokesman Sean Spicer said there is a massive, massive difference between exposing the emails of Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta and other Democrat officials and leaking national security secrets. Speaking of double standards, Spicer also said that Democrats and the media expressed more outrage over WikiLeaks last year than they are doing now. Sean Spicer says, "It's interesting how there's sort of a double standard with when the leaks occur, how much outrage there is." Sean Spicer obviously knows something about double standards when Donald Trump loves WikiLeaks in October, but hates WikiLeaks come the Ides of March. This next statement from Sean Spicer regarding the WikiLeaks CIA document dump would be hilarious if it was said by a fictional character in a movie or a play. In reality, however, it's just absurd. Spicer says, "It is our policy as a government not to confirm the authenticity of any kind of disclosure or hack. That would be highly inappropriate for us. But you know all of these occurred under the last administration. That is important." Sean Spicer says it would be inappropriate to confirm the authenticity of a hack, then immediately says the hack took place during the Obama administration. Sean Spicer says that is important to know. People often wonder how I can laugh about all this stuff, but the truth is that I'm not always laughing. It's just that I know that the departments and agencies of the United States of America are mostly criminals, but I can't really say that because they make the laws and enforce the laws in Washington, D.C., so technically they can't be criminals. They are villains, sometimes supervillains, because there are no heroes out here, just villains. I'm the megamind of Fort Wayne.
To your music, I really used to like your song you gave him. Now you just follow along. What happened to your music? What happened? 'Cause I like your song, I'm so good, but you're not feeling so strong. I'll take the blacklist. They better spell my name right, 'cause I'm not fading tonight, and I won't join their fight. They got a blacklist. They better spell my name right, 'cause I'm not dying tonight. I won't fall, I won't fight. Their TV is a drug, should be labeled as such, 'cause an hour a day is an hour too much. But look, there you are, you just sales are on the wane. You know you really can't complain. You sold your soul, now where to stand? Now you got a job to save, so give the people what they crave. Blow on kisses, smiles and waves. The label says how to behave. What's a slave? I'll take the blacklist. They better spell my name right, 'cause I'm not paid tonight, and I won't join their fight. They got a blacklist. They better spell my name right, 'cause I'm not dying tonight. I won't fall, I won't fight. I'll take the blacklist. They better spell my name right, 'cause I'm not paid tonight, and I won't join their fight. They got a blacklist. They better spell my name right, 'cause I'm not dying tonight. I won't fall, I won't fight.
Get hip to what's happening in the world with the Dean J Television Show every Saturday at 5 p.m. on Access Fort Wayne 2, right before The Fort Report with News Sentinel writer Kevin Leininger. The Dean J Television Show presents news, social commentary, music, and entertainment from Summit City Noise producer Dean Robinson, also known as Summit City music recording artist Dean J. Watch the Dean J Television Show every Saturday at 5 p.m. right before the Fort Report with News Sentinel writer Kevin Leininger on Access Fort Wayne 2. Access Fort Wayne 2 is Comcast Channel 57 and Frontier Channel 27. Consult your local TV listings, Facebook, and YouTube for the Dean J Television Show. Learn more about what is working in communities of color by listening to The Shake Up every Monday at 7 p.m. and Wednesdays at 9 a.m. on WELT 95.7 FM. The 1-hour program is hosted by Janine Roy. Janine Roy says this Shake Up is about bringing awareness to history, point of views, resources, and strategies with conversation. Janine hosted me, Dean Robinson, as a guest for this week's show. So listen to The Shake Up, hosted by Janine Roth, Mondays at 7 p.m. and Wednesdays at 9 a.m. on WELT-FM 95.7. You can also listen to WELT streaming audio at the Allen County Public Library website. So what you'll want to do is do a search for Allen County Public Library Fort Wayne. When you get on the site, press the Explore button. After you press Explore, look for WELT 95.7 radio. Press that and then just press play. So listen to The Shake Up, hosted by Janine Roth, every Monday at 7 p.m. and Wednesdays at 9 a.m. on WELT FM 95.7.